Good morning from San Francisco. Let's get up and get to the gym. Today I'm getting up relatively early because I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule after an entire month of being here. And so now it is 8 a.m. and I'm about to get ready. So this is the bathroom. Here's a little POV. Trying to take out my night lenses. OOTD outfit change. Here we go. We'll always do a little water chug in the morning before we go to the gym. Cheers. My friend made me get new running shoes recently, so these are the shoes that I'm wearing. Final fit check. One of the things about SF on foggy days like this is that you can feel these tiny droplets of water coming onto your face as you move forward. And it's really interesting because it's not rain, but you almost feel like you're being just rained on by these tiny little foggy droplets. I don't even know what you call it. I pulled my shoulder while I was rock climbing recently, so now I just have to do some stretches and hopefully it's a lot better so that I can get back to doing some pull-ups. So this part of the gym always gets me when there's these 55-pound plates. However, it's so thick to the point where you couldn't even hold it normally to actually bring it to wherever I need it for the leg workout. So that's just one thing about this gym. The hills in SF are one of the things that's really hard to tolerate because, especially on my way back home from the gym, the hills just get progressively steeper as I walk back. And right now, this is the first block where it's starting to get steep. I also have my coffee, so thank God I'm caffeinated. But as I go up, there's 2 more blocks after this that just gets steeper and steeper. And even with going to the gym 5 days a week, I still feel like I'm not at my prime health. Or at least that's what the hills make me feel like because I'm still getting out of breath while I walk up these hills. It is makeup time. One thing that I learned recently is that running a marketing agency is not great for the skin. And ever since I got here and started my own agency, that's when all these breakouts started to happen. And they never really went away. I usually have a roommate who's living with me, but recently she went home and she will be home for the next week or so still. And so it's just me living alone. And when you work from home and when you live alone, that's when I feel like you really need a structure to keep yourself sane. Otherwise, it's really easy to go mentally insane all of a sudden. So my usual routine is that I get up, get to the gym, and sometimes I don't even wake up at a reasonable time. Sometimes when I wake up, it's already 10 or 10:30 a.m. But even then, I still make sure that I go through the entire routine, whether that's running for 15 minutes or going to the gym like today for a full hour. This is something that keeps me mentally at peace. Because I make working out or going to the gym this entire event out of my day, that's why I'm starting to go in the morning, although I used to not be a morning workout person whatsoever, and I like to go really late at night. I find that because I'm trying to focus on work for the rest of the day, and sometimes I even have 2 to 4 events or socialization opportunities every week to further not be isolated throughout the entire week. I find that I have to get gym quote unquote out of the way every morning so that I can spend the rest of my day working or planning it out at least. If I do more of these vlogs, or if you guys watch my short film content, then you may be wondering, Alena, why are you wearing the same thing every single time? Well, that's because 60% of my closet is actually filled with summer clothes, and that's what I brought to San Francisco this summer. I was traveling in Beijing, London, and Paris before that, and those were all the clothes I'm wearing. However, I didn't know that because I'm living in North Beach this time, which is an area that's really near the ocean, it's extremely cold, and it's a lot colder compared to living in Berkeley, because I lived in a hacker house last year and the weather was still summer weather, you know? But now it's actually just between 14 to 18 degrees Celsius every single day, which is more like, even on the East Coast, it's more like a spring to fall weather, and that's why I'm unable to wear my 60% of the summer clothes, and I'm sticking to the 40%, which I'm just re-wearing every single day. I haven't shared what I'm working on the internet a ton, but long story short, right now I'm also in the process of hiring a VA, because I realized that within the work that I do, there's some repetitive tasks that I can outsource to other people so that I can work on the more essential tasks of the business. And it's my first time hiring someone, so I'm just really excited about the process and see where hiring a VA leads to. This summer's also been a huge leap of faith towards having my own independence and having my own space, because even in the past I was living in a hacker house, which means that there was a lot of people around me every single day, emotionally supporting me, physically being there. And this year I'm renting alone with one roommate, which I mentioned, and at the same time this is also my first summer where I am financially independent. So I saved up since the beginning of this year to be able to afford living in San Francisco and living in an environment where I think that I can work well. And it feels like there's a lot of things and a lot of like nuanced experiences throughout the day that just make me feel like this is what adulthood is, and this is what the real world feels like, which is very different from being in a bubble even in college. And I just find that really interesting. At the same time, there's a lot of challenges and a lot of like small things to overcome on a daily basis. For the past few weeks, I've been writing down these to-do lists every single day, and I find that this helps me keep track with my tasks a lot, because your emotions fluctuate every day, but at the same time your actions couldn't stop just because of the emotions. And that's why I always start with this category called water, where there's 7 check boxes of water so that I can try to drink 7 glasses every single day. And today is July 21st. So because I already drank a glass in the morning, I can check this off. And then around here is when I start writing down every single task that I need to do throughout the day. And because entrepreneurship is more like a 24/7 job, I already have an idea of what I need to done. I already have an idea of what I need to get done. I probably won't show you all the tasks, but a lot of my work consists of responding to creators and my clients. And this entire communication process is actually around 50% of what my job is at the moment. I don't always get done every single task that I have on the list, but at least this is a visual tracker of what I should be doing on a daily basis, so there's no mental clutter throughout the day. Because I'm working with some consumer apps these days, I get to see this entire Apple Store developer page, which I find really cool because I'm learning a lot about the back end of how these SaaS businesses function, and also I'm learning about a lot of online tools that can automate processes along the way of business development, which I find really fascinating because I've never been able to first of all be technical, but also use these type of tools to better the processes and make my entire like life more efficient. And I'm just really grateful that I get this opportunity to learn about tools like these. Time to call up 2 of my clients to do individual check-ins.
Hi.
Hello, how's it going? Call number 2. I guess I'll call again later. It is now 1:18 and I'm starting to cook my first meal. And I've actually never cooked shrimp on my own before, surprisingly. So today will be my first time and hopefully this goes well. We're doing some udon, vegetables, plus shrimp. So a part of adulthood is having to cook for yourself because you realize that you can't eat out every meal and you don't have your mom or I don't know, the school dining hall to provide food for you. So if you don't cook for yourself, then you starve. And that's one of the surprising realizations of the summer. Always have food that are just like turning hard. For example, this sourdough bread, now it's just hard like a rock. So we have to throw this one out. And yeah, we have one avocado that's almost ripe. There's just a bunch of leftover food where if I don't eat it for over sometimes 5 days to a week, I'll have to start trashing things out. I can never just prevent it from happening because I just never manage to finish all my food. We're also throwing this thing out, which has been in the fridge for over a week. And that's just a part of adulthood that we have to normalize. Oh my god. Did you guys just see that? Alright, so random shit like this happens all the time when I'm just casually cooking and then the water just pours out. Pots and pans are out. Now, this is all done. Lunch is done and I just ChatGPT'd this, but apparently I did overboil my shrimp because I didn't know that first of all shrimp shrinks to like half its size once it gets broiled. But after ChatGPTing this entire process, I realized that I did overcook the shrimp because now it's so extra tender. I should have put it on high heat for around 3 to 5 minutes. Instead I did 10. So that's a learning lesson right there. Just another adulthood lesson.
Business because like obviously they had to when they moved to make money. I mean, I'm always gonna go for it. It really just is not that such a video, but she's beauty. She is grace. The middle of the cake.
He can also like pivot and do like serious fitness style and scan his protein powder and stuff.
After getting off a call with a client, now I got a creator's response and she's saying that she is free for a call in 10 minutes. My day in the life consists of a lot of these calls that just happen spontaneously on the spot whenever people's free. We just get on calls and that's what I'm doing right now. One thing that's enjoyable about adulthood is that you get to buy yourself an entire tub of Trader Joe's ice cream and you can just eat it out of the tub. This is usually my type of work break. Honestly, sit in front of my computer and just work for a long time. Take small breaks, drink water, hydrate, scroll on social media in between. And then when I want a snack in the afternoon, I have some sort of usually unhealthy food, whether that's just Pocky sticks or candy or sometimes dates or fruit and whatnot. But today, our snack of choice is this ice cream. So cheers. Got some good vanilla ice cream. This is a really weird habit of mine, but something that I do when I work from home every day is that midday I would actually basically sit back in bed and then continue to work in bed. Again, I know this is like super weird because I'm not working in front of a desk when I'm doing it this way, but at the same time I find that this actually keeps me productive because now I can like work more comfortably just like this with my legs crossed, computer right in front of me compared to sitting in front of the office in the office or on the chair all day. Fast forward to a couple hours later, my unit is just up there. I just wanted to come out and get some fresh air before I have my last call of the day at 7:30 p.m. And now I'm just walking to this little spot that's basically the quote-unquote backyard of this apartment unit plus some other apartment units up here. But you guys have to see this view. It's immaculate. And I just feel so lucky that I get this view because you never get this on the East Coast. And I'm also glad that I do live on top of the hill, so then you get to overlook the entire city. It's also the Bay Bridge at the back. This apartment is also a 20-minute walk away from Pier 39, which is where all the sea lions are. And I love the sea lions. They're the cutest creatures ever. Even though work is really stressful over the summer around SF, there is still a lot of things to be grateful for, and the environment is extra nice compared to anywhere else that I've ever lived in, whether that's Toronto, whether that's my Babson dorm. It's just really nice here, and that's what I'm grateful about.
One eternity later.
So this is on our dinner menu, Lunchables. So how fun is a 20-year-old just eating this for dinner? This kind of represents my state of mind because there's just irregular meals sometimes, and sometimes I'm just not productive. And that's why I procrastinate with making meals even more, so then I just decide not to make dinner. And then in this case, I was eating some lunch leftovers, plus this, and hopefully also some fruit, and that'll just probably fill me up for the day. I don't love cooking for myself, so that's how it's going. It's 9:30 now. There's still a few tasks to be done because I had to prioritize some time-sensitive stuff today, and that's why I kept on pushing the tasks that I'm supposed to do back. I don't think I'll get it done in the next hour or so, but then I'll just try my best, and if not, then I'll push some tasks to tomorrow. But today, I know it's not been a super eventful day because most of the time I'm just at home except for going to the gym. I feel like it's days like these where it's extremely boring. I also got some friends inviting me to hang out with them and do things, but I also just said no for today. And I think it's really these days that builds up one's character and work ethics. It's not the end result of being a successful entrepreneur or whatnot. It's really about embracing the journey, embracing the process, and seeing how this makes you a better person. And it does feel like training myself to be completely isolated and not completely, but isolated and alone when I only have some interactions with friends online and texting from time to time. I actually haven't met up with anyone in person today, and it's times like these where it's really tough, but that's where I'm growing the most, and I'm proud of myself for that. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one.